Hey everyone, it's Mace1370. So I wanted to try doing a standard opener today with Arowell and Maid Chloe. Before we get into it though, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, please see the video description below for a link to my Discord. Alrighty, so I've noticed a bunch of standard players are kind of opening their drafts with Arowell, and then they're taking Maid Chloe, and then counterpicking you with various DPS units. And this is a pretty similar draft style to what I used to do back, in like Season 3. Or maybe even 2, like where you take FCC first and kind of, play reactive to the opponent. Now that Huayang is out of the game, people are able to play very tanky, right? Because this type of game plan would have been severely punished by Huayang, and she's not here anymore. So, normally in the previous season you would have had to have pre-banned Hua to do this type of thing, but now we can pre-ban Strays and Operator Cigarette, which are two aggressive units that are very good into this type of strategy. So we've essentially expanded, right, our bans into 3 instead of 2 because of the Hua nerf. I think, with this opening, you generally just go reactive to what the opponent's doing after you take these two, and since he has taken DJB and Mediator Kaurek, I think Landy is a fine pick. She really punishes buffs, and both of those units put buffs on the team. She's a counter Bloodstone, so the Milim isn't super relevant other than Extinction. Extinction is kind of spooky, admittedly. And Arunka is interesting as well. We do get barriers on our light units because of Arowell, and then Arunka can do a lot of damage to barrier units. Escort, though, is so influential, I don't think Arunka is going to be able to kill anything. She's just kind of bad. And then we're going to last pick Spectre Tenebria. I'll take the Lifesteal one because I'm generally playing for a longer game. And we just ban out Pirate Captain Flan. She is something our team cannot handle. My thought with Spirit Eye Celine here is she's on Secret Art Swordstorm, so if either DJB or Mediator Kaurek press buttons, she'll cut the enemy DPS and can put Immortality on my team and prevent them from getting extincted. She gets banned out though. I think that's okay. The enemy had to either ban her or Spectre, because they don't really have any reach for Spectre. But if we get Spirit Eye Celine, then we can probably protect Landy and be okay too. So I think we were in an okay spot there in the draft. The thing here is both Milim and Arunka are high single target damage units, so they're probably going to kill the Landy, but that's okay. We're just going to kill them with Stenny. So this draft kind of sacrificed Landy to win at the end. Alright, so you can see everyone is getting an attack buff. Arunka gives herself attack buff. This is, the new unit, and kind of the general consensus, and it's the consensus I came to after I played her a few games. She's pretty bad. She does like no damage. She didn't even use skill 3 there. I probably would have just ripped it. Interesting, I guess his Milim's not on book. I didn't see what artifact it was on. Maybe a damage artifact? That was a lot of damage. I mean, Landy's definitely dead, right? So we can stun someone here. He's used all of his cleanses. So I guess we'll go ahead and stun Arunka, and then we can all-in Milim with Spectre Tenebria. I guess we may want to use one of our Soul Burns on the Arunka just to get one of the damage dealers off the board. Milim's kind of the only threat, I think, at this point. Also, by Soul Burning, we're going to get out of our barrier there, so Spectre won't even get hit by that. Oh, that was a hit into a dual attack, which was lucky. I don't think it would have mattered, honestly. I don't think Milim could have finished off Spectre. Because, yeah, we would just skill 3 here into Arunka. And this is going to kill Arunka for sure. Yeah, she's dead. So there's no way Milim was getting through Arowell and Maid Chloe. So that's game. Alrighty, here we go for game 2. We get first pick again, so we can take Arowell. The opponent has banned out Conquer Lilius and Lua. So this is essentially 4 bans against aggro. So Cleave is still on the table, and Standard slash, Degen or Tanky or whatever you want to call it. Alright, so we'll take our Arowell Maid. The opponent is doing Handguy Aras. I think we can just take Landy again. Landy's good into Handguy. Not having Guiding Light is a little spooky just because he can S2 the Landy and then we get attack down, and we only really have the one cleanse. I think it's okay though, because we have our other picks too to do damage, and Handguy is going to S2 someone, right? So we take Spectre. Spectre and Carrot, okay. We could, I guess, take Belly in here. We'll take Seaside Bellona, I think, because she'll provide reach into Spectre Tenebria, and she's also good into Carrot, because she's water, so Carrot will have a hard time landing burns on her. And the AoE from Carrot will feed her a lot of stacks and let her counter back a lot. So I think Seaside Bellona is good. And then we could take a second blue unit or Bellion. My Bellion's on injury, and honestly, I don't really love the build, because, I typically pre-ban her, so I haven't really put a lot of thought into her gear. And honestly, I hate playing Bellion, so let's just take a blue unit. So I think we take Shu. Another blue unit we could take would be Rem. I'm debating about which one I want to take. I think Shu is probably better. Rem is really slow, Shu's a bit faster. And Spectre, can't be countered, so Rem isn't going to counter whenever Spectre attacks. Also, the immunity from Handguy makes Rem feel a little less impactful, because if she can't land defense break, she doesn't really do anything. So yeah, we'll just do Shu. Seaside's getting banned out. That was pretty predictable, right?
I'll do anything for her.
We get a friendly wave from, is that X-Ven? Is that how you pronounce that? I'm not sure. Zeven? Alright, so he gets attack buff, so Carrot, 13k HP, probably a fairly standard Carrot build. Maybe a little on the fast side, since I think my Maid is around 200 speed. So if I had to guess, I'd say around 4k attack without attack buff. He does land the burn on Shu, which is unfortunate. So our Shu goes down to half health. Let's see, we can put up anti-crit here, and that with Escort will hopefully be enough. Okay, he goes into Landy, lands the defense break, but anti-crit saves us. Oh, and we get a counter from Shu into a Fwoosh, which, I think we deserved at this point since he got the burns on Shu, so it's only fair. Let's see, who do we want to stun? I could stun Adventurer Ross, or we could stun Handguy. I think Handguy is actually the play, since we're going to kill Aros anyways, probably with damage. I think I time out, but I actually clicked on Aras, but I think the game chose correctly for me and stunned Handguy, since I think that Aras will probably be dead. Even if he kills Landy here, we can just bring her back with Maid. Although I suppose skill 3 will push her back, but that's okay. Handguy's stunned. Which means that our Landy will get a turn here either way, I think.
I will step on you.
Okay, no crit, but he doesn't need it. Yeah, so Handguy's stunned, so our Landy will res and get a turn, I think. Alright, oh, actually, Carrot cut. Unfortunate. Goes into Landy. Landy counters, which we actually didn't want because that burns us again. But that's okay. We get our fully empowered skill 3 with attack buff. And we do have Bloodstone, so we should heal an okay amount here. Actually, I haven't really played this Bloodstone too much.
Another trial to overcome.
That didn't look like a huge heal to me. Did somebody else get it? Landy again goes into Carrot. Oh, you know what? I wonder if Landy doesn't have an artifact. I'll have to double check. Okay, Dick, one more game here against Zebas. I double-checked in between recording the audio for these two, and yes, indeed, my Landy is without an artifact. I had moved the Bloodstone onto Green Bellona, so that she could be used in the Nightmare raid mode. And then I forgot to put it back. So for these matches, I guess Landy does not have Bloodstone on, so they would just work even better if she did have it. We have our same pre-bans. The opponent is pre-banning Lilius and Lua, so we can take Arowell first. Another reason I wanted to try, this type of draft and practice it is because, ideally I don't want to ever force one particular strategy, whether that's like cleave, aggro, standard, or whatever. You want to be able to be flexible, and so depending on what your opponent pre-bans and what you pre-ban, you may want to do standard, or you may want to do aggro, or whatever it is, right? And so I don't want to be locked into just always taking the same units. I have been playing aggro a lot, mostly just to practice it because it's a kind of a newer playstyle for me. Anyways, so we can take our Maid Arowell. He's taken Rimuru and Apocalypse Ravi. Taking Maid into Rimuru could be a little bit bad, because he can steal the revive and stuff. But on the flip side, you get to revive what he kills, so it doesn't feel too terrible. And we can also take Landy. Landy is really nice here, I think, because if Rimuru does steal buffs, it's going to empower her skill 3. You also don't want to face Landy, I think, with these two. I think Landy would be really good into you. And so, I feel like you really want to take her on 3 here. They take Millum, and then Amelia. So Amelia's kind of threatening, like a boost up with Millum or something like that, and just one-shotting our Landy right out the gate. So we don't really want that to happen. We can take Politis. This is a D-Gen 1. I've taken her off Crown. She's now on Violin. I think it has a lot more value than Crown for a few reasons. One, I think Crown, you have to really high roll to win with it. And this is speaking from somebody that's played aggro for like the last 2 or 3 seasons and has always played into Politis. Like, you really have to high roll to win, I think, the majority of the time. And then the second reason is DJB has been very prevalent, DJB Cowrick. These are 2 cleansers that a lot of people take in response to your Politis. And with Crown, they just press their button and they have immunity and nothing happens. With Violin, you strip the immunity a lot of the time, and then you skill 3 and you put buff, block, and blind on the entire enemy team, and if they're aggro, like, that is a death sentence. That means no attack buff, and that means 50% chance you're going to miss. And so that'll usually just win you the game right there. So I think Violin's a lot better on D-Gen Volley, at least in our current meta. Okay, we can just ban out Kara. We don't need to fight her. We have Celine, and I think Celine will be good here because she can give everybody Immortal and prevent Rimuru or Millum from one-shotting anyone right out the gate. And then from there we should be able to stabilize. He bans out Maid. That's a little spooky, I will admit. If he can manage to get our Celine down, then we're going to be in big trouble. I guess we just take the first turn in front of the Amelia.
This ill-fated relationship
Was
between us.
kind of hoping to have Amelia go first, but I guess it's okay. Yeah, I think honestly, I guess it's fine either way because we have Politis. Another nice thing with Politis is it makes it hard for Rimuru to cut, right? Because you have the CR gain he gets from his skill 2. Okie doke, we get to proc with Politis. Goodbye attack buff. Rimuru will go into our Politis and give his entire team Immortal, but it doesn't really matter because they're going to take the turn before us anyways, so that'll just fall off. Now we can put buff, block, and blind on the entire enemy team. See, so now their entire first cycle is essentially going to be wasted. When people hit units and you have Escort, it feels like they do no damage. Arowell is very strong as a standard unit. She feels like arguably the best knight you can take early right now. Aras is still good. He's not bad, but Arowell offers you a lot. The fact that she can strip on her skill 1 is surprisingly impactful because of units like Handguy and DJB, putting up immunity. She can just get rid of that immunity and let you actually debuff the enemy team. You get a counter there with Landy. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't notice Bloodstone was on until now. That's funny. Yep, no heal. Alright, well I think we just kill Rimuru here because we don't want him to skill 3. Rimuru is the one thing that really threatens us at the moment because that'll take out our Celine. And we don't want that to happen, because that extra, 10k damage or however much it is if he has full buffs, comes after, his normal attack, and it doesn't count towards Celine's passive, and so that can just kill her on the spot. But yeah, I think that strip on Arowell's skill 1 is one of the reasons why she feels as impactful as she is. And her skill 3 also has a buff strip as well. But, in the past, units like Aras were so valuable because they could put immunity up. And now, when you're playing a standard match, and you're facing an Arowell, you put immunity on something, she just takes it away. I mean, all of a sudden you can defense break them, right? And really break through their team. So it's kind of tough. I was thinking, like, what units would I want into Arowell if I was playing standard? I've thought actually about Falconer Clary, because you could defense break her and provoke her, prevent her from stunning someone, and then maybe just kill her. F Clary might make a comeback. Right, let's see, so Milim is going to try to go into Landy here. But now that Rimuru is down, the only threat we have to deal with is the Apocalypse Ravi skill 3, so that if that kills Landy, that would be bad news. We can go for a stun here, we don't get it. Unfortunate. So since we don't get that, I think we just have to dilute the unit pool. Oh, even better, we can just put up Immortality again, right? But we want... we want APOC to go before Landy, because otherwise the Immortality will fall off, so we can Soulburn into the APOC, but unfortunately we don't push her enough because we have Politis. So our own Politis works against us. Unfortunate. So we have to do this, and now my only real play here is to kill Amelia, because I don't think I can kill APOC. And this way, if APOC skill 3s and kills my Landy, there's a 50-50 shot at who he brings back. And hopefully it's not Rimuru. Oh, he doesn't kill at all. Alright, so we gear gapped him. I think normally he should kill. But hopefully you enjoy the games. Let's take a look at the units. Here is Landy. She has her Bloodstone on now, so before this was missing. I did put it back. So you can see how I built her here. Her... offensive stats are really minimized compared to previous builds since she's on counter set, and she doesn't have guiding light, so you have to invest so much into bulk. I think put in these damage stats since I figured this would be about the minimum amount of damage I would want to do, and around 180 speed, and then I just maximized effective hit points, and this is what I got. I'm not a Banshee gamer, so there are honestly probably Landys out there that have way crazier stats on counter set, but I think this one's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good overall, because I do have some counter gear. So that's Landy. Let's see, we can show Maid Chloe, who I haven't changed her build for a little while. She's on Crystal, and again, I don't think this is a super crazy Maid Chloe. So you can see the gear here. I put her 200 speed, around 150 effectiveness or effect resistance, and then I just wanted bulk after that, and this is kind of what I got. I think you could probably change your speed tuning a little bit based on the rest of your units, but I think about 200 is fine. You want her to go in front of things like Landy, right? And Spectre Tenebria and whatnot, so that's kind of where you're speed tuning here. Other units that would be popular in this comp, as like later picks, would be like a Sage Vivian, so we can show that. Here's Sage Vivian, she's on Lifesteal. Again, haven't really changed her build in a while. I guess she actually gets better because of the mage buff, right? So she gets to go faster. That's nice. Let's see, I have her on Time Matter just to increase her AoE damage, but I think Book would also be really good. Now let's show Arowell. Here's Arowell. So this is different than the funny meme build I had on earlier, right? I put her on Adamant Shield just to maximize mitigation for the team, and for the rest of it, I wanted her to have at least 28k hit points. Because she has Escort, her health gets chewed up super fast. So I really wanted to make sure that she could live a bit. So that's why I went for 28k. I would say probably 27 to 28,000 health is the minimum you want her at. Just seeing, playing games and seeing how much damage she takes. Any less than that, and I think she's going to die super, super quick. So you have to play with a little bit more than that. This is a good amount of defense, I think. Speed tuning isn't super important. The order she goes, I think 190, 200, just so she turn cycles okay, is probably okay. I think 150 ER is really nice just to prevent, like random Alencia defense breaks or, strips and stuff like that. You could definitely put more on her, though, if you wanted. And I had some extra stats to play with, so I just did effectiveness. She gives herself an effectiveness buff, so if you give her about 50, this will be about 100 effectiveness. So that will allow her to stun a lot, because a lot of people are running like 100 or 120 ER on units like Senya or Archdemon Mercedes, and so you kind of want to be able to stun those if you can. So I think having the effectiveness is nice for those battles. And also just the way that, the gear rolled, it would have significantly hurt her gear score for me to push her hit points higher and lose the F. So that's why I went with that. And then I guess we did use Spectre, so we can show that. So here's the Lifesteal Spectre. I haven't changed this build in ages, but also haven't really drafted it very much, just because, like a slower Spectre Tenebria for longer, grindier games hasn't been super meta recently. So let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will catch you guys later.